John Allen is out. We're going to talk about in this video starting right now. And welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. My name is Greg. I'm your host here, and this channel, of course, is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And also, when you do, make sure you hit that notification bell so you won't miss any other video releases. So John Allen, it was said today in the presser from Dan Quinn that he has a torn pec. He will have surgery for this if he hasn't already, and he is expected to miss the rest of the season. That's right, folks. John Allen missing the rest of the season. I tell you, we have been talking about the lack of production from both John Allen and Daron Payne. Daron Payne didn't even he didn't even score any stats yesterday. When Brandon and I were on a live stream last night, now I was looking up all of the stats for the defense because I like to see, okay, who was leading with tackles and things like that. Daron Payne didn't even have any stats to record. His name was not even on there. John Allen had a couple of sacks, a couple of tackles, no sacks. But for the most part, John Allen has really underperformed in this season. Of course, Daron Payne also have underperformed, and of course, those two guys are supposed to be the strong points of that defensive line. Of course, last year at the beginning of the season, we touted that offensive line or defensive line being the best in the league because you had Chase Young, you had Jonathan Allen, you had Ron Payne, and then you had Montez Sweat. And then halfway through the season, Montez Sweat and Chase Young get dealt. And so you just had Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen there in the middle. And now this year, of course, we're getting more production out of Fedorian Mathis, thank goodness. We are going to see a lot more of him. We drafted Johnny Newton. We're going to see a lot more of him as well. And now, we have John Allen out for the rest of the season. So that middle of the defensive line was really, I felt, was kind of underperforming anyway. A lot of these sacks or a lot of these tackles, and even the sacks that you would see during the season so far have come from other guys. Dorrance Armstrong, he was playing really well yesterday, had 2 sacks. And of course, then he got hurt with that rib injury. Things are still kind of a wait and see for him. We'd like to see him back in there. But pressure seems to come from the linemen, maybe a safety blitz every now and then, but not the linemen, but the linebackers. Not really a lot of pressure from the linemen, but especially John Allen and Daron Payne. I mean, but it is unfortunate that we see that John Allen's going to be out for the rest of the season. Now, the question is, have we seen the last of John Allen in Washington? Because I'm telling you, Adam Peters doesn't mess around. He really doesn't mess around. And if his guys are underperforming, he's going to find a way to get rid of them. He's going to find some players who can perform. I mean, take a look at what's happened with Emmanuel Forbes. He was a healthy scratch. Jamin Davis, healthy scratch. These guys are just they're falling off of the track quickly. So of course, Dan Quinn announces the season-ending injury for John Allen. He says it's a big blow for us. John Allen's obviously been a staple player here. We're really bummed for him as the man and the ball player, and we'll certainly miss him this season. Defensive ends, Dorrance Armstrong, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, ankle were also injured in the Ravens game. Armstrong didn't come back. Kellen Farrell just returned from the injury, and Washington is likely to count on Deron Payne, Fedorian Mathis, Johnny Newton to fill in the void of Allen's absence. And you know what? This might be a blessing in disguise because we get to see what these other guys can really do with a little bit more playing time. Um, I mean, I'm not going to I'm not going to say that things are actually going to be better. I know that you're always going to have some Commanders fans who are like, you know what, he was underperforming anyway, so things are going to be better without him. Not always, but I will say that uh, I think we will see one way or the other, you know, how this is going to affect the defensive line. But I think initially you have to feel, John Allen, he's been one of those guys who's been a staple on that defensive front for a number of years. He's out, but it does give guys like Johnny Newton, Fedorian Mathis, um, an opportunity. And I want to see more out of Fedorian Mathis. I want to see what Johnny Newton can do. And so, sometimes it's addition by subtraction, where it's like you get this injury to a key player, but yet you're able to see the other guys who come in and who are maybe their depth players or the rotation players, and now they're getting an opportunity to really show exactly what they can do. And so then at the end of the season, you've got a lot, you really know what you've got from your draft picks and things like that. And then you're able to decide, are we keeping these high priced players, or are we able to roll with these players and then find their depth? So anyway, what can I say? I mean, we haven't really been getting a lot of production out of John Allen anyway. Um, it almost kind of feels like how it was with Chase Young that second year. First year was great. Second year, he really dropped off, and then of course he got injured, and then of course John Allen getting injured. He had a number of good years, gets paid, and then suddenly I feel like his production kind of drops off a little bit there. I think he's tried. I've seen some times where you see him in the backfield trying to make a play, but he just can't get there. And so then you start to wonder, okay, was it injuries to begin with? Was it a minor injury that he was nursing, didn't tell anybody, and then all of a sudden it turns into a big injury? You really do start to wonder that about some of these players. But I do wish John Allen a speedy recovery, and I hope that he can get back on the field next season. Well, if it is still in the Commander's uniform, or if he gets traded somewhere else, would like to see him back and healthy and playing next year. But John Allen out for the rest of the season. Big blow to our defensive front. So this is a time when the Commanders are going to have to regroup, get together, and it's next man up. So that's the name of the game. I think Dan Quinn, Joe Witt Jr. is going to have these guys ready, especially for Carolina, and I think they need to come out and make a statement. So, win this one for John Allen, and whatever it takes, right? But let me know in the comments what you think about this. I mean, despite the fact that we have not seen the production out of John Allen, do you still feel like this is a pretty big blow to our defensive front? Let us know in the comments below. That said, folks, I will see you in the next one. Take care, and hell to the Washington Commanders. Hell to the Redskins.